Hello friends. Now we have got the second and third points today of studies by Francis Bacon. The second point we have already seen, that is wrong uses of study. And also the third one is value of experience. How valuable is experience in our life? So I hope I need not repeat whatever I told yesterday. Very well we have explained, and today we go on to the fourth sentence. First, second, third sentences we have done, and that was a unit, just 1 point, and benefits and advantages of studies. And now today we have got two other points. One is the wrong uses of studies and also value of experience. Sentence 4 and 5. So you have to spend too much time on studies is sloth. What is sloth means? Laziness, lethargy. You don't move, There are some people like that. See, they're very difficult for them to move. They will sit, if they sit somewhere, they will say, please take that, please take this, please get me a glass of water. Glass of water may be there, he need to just get up and extend his hands, but still he will not do it. So there are such people are sloth. They suffer from deadly sin. This is one of the deadly sins. 7 deadly sins we know. Pride, then starting with pride, gluttony and all those, greed, these are deadly sins. So sloth is one of the deadly sins. So to say that to spend too much time on studies is sloth. Suppose you start reading from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the evening, or till you go to bed. That is not good, isn't it? As it is, there's a famous saying, even too much of elixir is poison, you say. Too much of elixir is poison. Elixir in amrita. So if you drink amrita, too much of amrita, then that becomes poison. So too much of anything is bad. There's the same here also. See, practical wisdom from Francis Bacon. To spend too much time on studies is slow. Then, to use them too much for ornament is affectation. Affectation means artificial behavior. Artificial. People will think that, hey, what is it? See, for example, somebody says that life, oh, how terrible is life, etc. Immediately you say, life is a tale. Shakespeare has said that life is a tale told by an idiot full of song and fury and so on. I think I told you yesterday also. Or you said that there is, as we have already seen, see, suppose you said like, oh, we have a lot of things to do in life before we die. And Robert Frost said, miles to go before you sleep, miles to go before you sleep. See, like that, after every sentence you get a quotation, you get bored. Right? That becomes so artificial. You have people who think, hey, yes, learn these things by heart. Is not worth. But once in a while, if there is a generous sprinkling of quotations, then you enjoy that. Otherwise, after every sentence, there is a quotation. That will be artificial behavior, unnatural, so to say. Listen. To make judgment wholly by their rules is humor of a scholar. Humor is not comedy. Humor means the characteristic. Because in good old days, there was classification. The human race, so to say, we can say, classified into 4 groups, 4 humors. Like that, one is sanguine, second is choleric, third is phlegmatic, and fourth is melancholic. Yes. These are the 4 humors, means characteristics of people. People used to be classified like this. Sanguine means very happy, enjoying, always smiling. Then next is choleric, getting angry always. Lean and thin. So, Ion Cassius, lean and thin. Such men are dangerous. People with choleric humor or that characteristic, they are dangerous people because they get angry very soon. You can see plum with means plenty of. See, we say fat people, they don't get angry. That is sanguine. They are sanguine people, means very happy. Thin, lean people, they get angry. Very soon, very often they get, just even without any reason they will get angry. That is, their nature is like that. Melancholy means always very sad. They will say that the pessimistic people. They will say that the door is half closed. When we say the door is half open. The glass is half full, we will say. Then the melancholia, people suffer from melancholia. They will say the glass is half empty. So that's why they don't look at the bright side of it. And phlegmatic means they don't move. They are people suffering from sloth like this. They can't move, phlegm. Or sit in a particular place, that's all. Understand? That's how they do. So that is humor means. Humor is not comedy, not that. Humor means the characteristic, the character of a scholar. What? Always make judgment by given rules. I think yesterday also I gave you that example. Suppose you go to a doctor and you say, you have got such an ailment. And suddenly he opens a book and says, oh, this ailment, this much, this medicine and so on. See? Just always judging through or taking decisions, consulting books, that he says, it is scholar. Scholar means bookish. He has no practical knowledge. Scholar has got that meaning, a bad meaning here. Means he always depends on books and bookish knowledge rather than common sense and practical knowledge. See, for example, you go to a barber for your hairdressing. And then the barber has certain rules how to do this. But he will not, all the time rules will not help him. He has to change according to the shape of the head. If the same rules are applied to all the heads, then what will happen is that the person who undergoes the hairdress, that he will come out as a very comic figure. Understand? That's the thing. So for everything it is like that. Teacher, for example. You are studying B.Ed theory, psychology, then education psychology and all those things. But those things you cannot directly apply in a classroom situation. Classroom situation you have got 100 and 1000 variables. So you have to adjust it according to that. So that's the point. Okay? Yes. So that is wrong use of study. So if you spend too much time on study, you become lazy. At least 1 hour you must go for a walk, or you should compulsory games you should play, some games you should play, or go out and talk to people. Now this happens in a mobile, it's WhatsApp. Few 24 hours people who do WhatsApp, they do like this. Then what happens is the result is sloth. They cannot move, their eyes will bulge out, and then they will start suffering from headache, and they will become, what do you say, see, anti-people. They don't want to see people, they want to see only this thing. So, but at times you can use it. So too much of anything is bad. Already playing is good. Does that mean that from morning till evening you should play? No. So there should be balance. That's the point. There should be balance. So in this, when you take this sentence, when you read this sentence, what comes to your mind is the golden mean given to us by Aristotle. The rule of the golden mean, middle. He says, in Latin it is written like this, virtu stat in media. This is Latin. In media, it means virtue lies in the middle. What is virtue lies in the middle means? Anything you can indulge in, but moderate. There should be moderation, that's what he says. In studying, there should be moderation. Then, using them for as an ornament, there should be moderation. and using them for judgments, there should be moderation. 50-50. 50 of this is Latin, virtu means virtue, stat means stance, in media means in middle. That means the golden mean. This is the famous rule given to us by Aristotle, the rule of the golden mean. Golden mean. See, there should be moderation, the rule of moderation. You can indulge in anything, but there should be moderation. That's what this is. Perfect. Worldly wisdom, the best, can be applied to not only in reading, not only for ornament, not only for judgment, for everything in your life. I hope you understand. So the next is value of experience. Connected to this is their perfect nature. Who perfect nature? Studies. Studies, they hear me studies. Studies makes your nature perfect. That's what I mean. Guru is a teacher we call Guru. Why? Because he is the one who removes darkness and throws light in your life. So, when you are born, you grow up, you have got too much of animal nature in us. So that is being removed, and then you become a rational being. You develop into a rational being by the help of your Guru, that means your teacher. See? Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. That's the thing. He leads you from darkness to light. That is perfection. They perfect nature who studies and are perfected by experience. Studies help you to become perfect, but that is only halfway through. To become fully perfect, what you have to do? You also have to depend on experience. See, after my regular college years, for some time after my retirement, I worked in an engineering college for a few years. Yes. Not very few, but about 14 years. And then what happened, this engineering students, they are my target population. So when I have a problem, so I had my laptop, then I would ask, see, something has gone wrong, will you please repair, help me. Then the student who is doing electronics would say, sir, I don't know, we cannot do anything. We know only theory. So that means what? Only half of it. Even those people who get a BTech degree, they say like this. They say, sir, we don't know how to do this, but we have to get experience. We have to be apprenticed to some person outside. Otherwise, we don't have practical knowledge. That's what they say. So, they perfect nature and are perfected by experience. You can see now these days, occasional courses are there. So, you have got first theory classes, then you have got practical classes. See, that is experience. You have to get job experience. You go, you are posted in industries, you are posted in companies, you are posted in schools, colleges and so on. So that, see, B.Ed, when you are doing B.Ed, what happens is you will be taken to schools for teaching experience. You are studying a lot of theory, but that won't do. Theory will only make you say 50% of it. The remaining 50% should be experience. For natural abilities are like natural plants. Now this is a second characteristic of, you can say, Bacon's style. First one I told you, that is aphorism. No explanation, nothing. Studies are for delight, for ornament and for ability. That's all. But you see, sentence 5 you will find, what you find is, there is some kind of elaboration. So this is his later style. He uses figures of speech, comparisons. So in this case it's a comparison, which he would never use in his early style. Early style is epigrammatic and aphoristic. But later you will find this, comparisons and so on. He indulges in comparisons, that's it. So natural abilities are like natural plants. They need pruning by study. Pruning. P-R-O-N. This is Middle English spelling. Pruning, P-R-O-N-Y. Pruning means you cut. See, every year, at a particular time of the year, you trim your rose plant and other things. Trimming is done. So even your hair, you trim so that it may grow well. See, so plants you prune. Pruning means you cut and dust them, or part of it you remove. Then what happens is that with double energy and force, you will find sprouting. The plants are sprouting. New branches are coming like that. But you should not do it with your hands. If you cut, it is gone forever. Nothing will sprout from here. You know why? The simple reason is that man is the crown of creation. Nothing can be done on him. It's perfect. Nothing can be done. If you do anything, as you can see these days, what is a transplanting of organs? What happens? Have you ever read the story of those people who underwent this transplanting of organs? How long? For how much? They spent lakhs and lakhs. I am not against it, but I am saying we can only do very little with human beings. So if you say that, oh, my liver, I will prune my liver, half of it I will cut and give, and then it will develop. It will not develop. That is a different story. Okay. So then what happens is, you have got the natural abilities are like natural plant. They need pruning by study. So natural abilities, pruning by study means they have to be, you have to give a booster dose. And the booster dose is experience. In the case of plants, the booster dose is pruning, cutting the branches, so that they come out with greater energy. Understand? So that is applicable to, say, not humans, but we can say that highly developed things you cannot do anything. That is perfection solution. Humans, they have reached the perfect so far. That is, their development is complete. Once it is complete, you cannot do anything with that. Perfect and complete, absolutely. But that is not the case with the plants. Plants, we can say lower level. So you can cut the branches, then new branches will sprout and develop. That is, so he is comparing. He says that your natural abilities are like that. Natural abilities are like natural plants. They need pruning by study. That is the thing. Pruning by study means you have got natural abilities. You have got, say, a person has got a talent, singing talent, suppose. And if he has a talent for singing, he is not admitted, or he is not given training, or he doesn't go to a music school to develop his talent, what will happen is, it will not grow. So pruning here means giving a booster dose. And that booster dose is, say, schooling. You go to a music school and then learn music. You have got the talent for playing violin. You have a violin, okay. But if you don't go to a school where it is taught and that is guided by a teacher, you will never develop. It's a fact. So natural abilities, to develop natural abilities, you need schooling. You need training. That giving training or giving schooling is just like pruning the branches of a plant. It's just like that. This is. So that is a very beautiful simile. Most of the time you can see Bacon does not indulge in such kind of things. He doesn't. He is like a grasshopper now, jumping from one point to another. Studies server. Reading makes the full man. Then reading makes the full man. Conference a ready man, and writing an excitement. He doesn't stop. 1 point, 2nd point, 3rd. But here, this is once again I would like to stress this point that this is his style undergoes certain changes in this. This is his, again, not early but later style. In later style, he finds time for, say, comparisons, use of figures of speech and so on. Here it is simile. Just as natural plants develop by pruning, natural abilities of human beings develop by schooling or by training. That's what he says in this. And studies themselves do give forth, he says, directions too much at large. So what happens is that if you have that, so you are a talented singer, all right. Then what happens is you are not going to a school, music school. So nothing will happen. You will sing, that's all. But on the other hand, what do studies do? Studies themselves do give for directions too much at large. Studies give you theoretical knowledge, they give you directions, they give you corrections, they give you practical classes, they give you on-the-job experience. Understand? So here the comparison is between natural plants and natural abilities of human beings. In simple English we say, just as the growth and development of natural plants requires pruning, exactly like that, natural abilities of human beings such as music, athletics, a person who he has got a talent for running, but unless and until he works under a coach, he is not going to become an Olympian. Nowhere in the world we have come across such a case, except in the case of Egalavian. Isn't it? Egalavian was refused admission in Dronacharya school. But what did he do? That is a story. He made a statue of Dronacharya and practiced. And he became a great archer, so to say. Isn't it? So that's what we are seeing. That is the Asian story. We don't know whether it is true or not. Otherwise, in normal course, in normal life, what happens is that you have to undergo schooling, practice, because studies themselves do give forth, support directions too much at large, except they be bounded in by experience. Studies give you, but there is a warning. The warning is sentence for comes here. The point what is given in sentence for, again he is repeating. Except means they be bounded in by experience. Except there means but. But they should be supported, bounded in by experience. So 3 points in that sentence 5. First, natural abilities are like natural plants. Natural plants, to develop, to energize, you need to cut them or prune them. Exactly like that, natural abilities to develop and become perfect, you have to undergo training, schooling, you have to work under a coach, you have to do on-the-job training and so on. But at the same time, careful, what studies themselves give you too many directions. You will be sometimes lost, therefore bounded in by experience. All the directions and principles that you learn from book should be supported by experience, practical knowledge of your life. Understand? So what happens is there should be a confluence of theory and practical knowledge, academic and common sense. That's what he says. There should be a confluence of, a synchronization, if you want to put it like that, or a configuration, if you want to use computer language, then there is a configuration of theory, practical knowledge, and experience and advice from your teachers or your guru or your coach. At the same time, warning, all these should be bounded in by experience, should be supported by experience. And the sentence 4 we saw, to spend too much time in studies is sloth, to too much, using them too much for ornament means always you are giving quotations, that will be unnatural behavior, affectation we say. And then to make judgment wholly by the rules is humor of a scholar. He is an academic, he has no practical knowledge, isn't it? So according to the rules of the college, students should not talk in the class when the teacher is talking. There should be only one talking in the class, one person talking in the class. Some students will talk. Suppose you apply rules to that, you will never be able to take even a single class in a college or a school. Because there will be 20% of people inattentive and they will be talking. So at best what we can do is, that is experience. We say, please keep quiet. Yes. That is experience. Otherwise, if you act according to, judge these people according to your rules, then that is just a very narrow way of looking at things. I will tell you a very, very small story. A student used to sleep in the class. See how teachers can misunderstand students. Students sleep in the class. Class begins, he sleeps. So the teacher was annoyed. She got angry and said, get out of my class, don't come to my class again. After 2 or 3 days, she, with her family, went for a second show. Returning from the second show, he saw this boy. He was writing signboards at night. He was writing signboards for advertisement. He was in the signboards. Immediately she stopped the car. She asked her husband to stop the car and called him. Mr. Please come. Why are you doing this at this time of the day, at this time of the night? He said, see, my father is dead. We are very poor. We don't even have a place to sleep. My mother, during day, she goes around working in different homes as a maid servant, and that is not enough for us. At night, what I do is, I have got talent for drawing, so I go writing signboards. Oh, the teacher, suddenly what happened, the teacher felt very bad. She said, she thought like this, what a bad person I am. I could not understand that boy. See, the situation of that boy. I thought that he was insulting me by sleeping in the class. But actually what happened, this actual story is, he's a poor man, poor boy, nobody to support him. So during night he is working, so he has to sleep, Sunday. During day he is sleeping, what's wrong in that? Did you get the point? If you look at the boy, judge that boy's action in the class, sleeping while the teacher is taking class, through make judgment wholly by rules of book, then what will happen? After some time, you will have to be very sad in your life. The story of Good Samaritan is the same thing. 2 people passed away, 2 very important people, doing sacrifice, kurbana or a kurbani in front of God, God's altar. For them the rule, because we are going to perform puja, therefore we should not contaminate our hands by touching a wounded person like this. See, so they made judgment wholly by their rules. Those 2 people, They, you know the story, they made judgment wholly by the rules. That is humor of a scholar. Very narrow-minded. But what about the Good Samaritan? He was going on a particular, he had a purpose to go, but he stopped there. Okay? And then he thought this is more important than that. There are many such stories. Many such stories. Don't make judgment according to rules. Understand? So one more, just one more story I'll tell you connected with this. 4 persons went for recruitment in the army. 4 persons. They had to cross a river. And when they were about to cross the river, they saw an old lady sitting in the bank of the river. 3 of them said, it is time, exactly if you don't go in time, we will not be admitted. So they did not bother about this old lady and they went. And they got selected also. After half an hour, the other man, he carried the lady across, old lady and her luggage across the river and went to the headquarters of the army. They would not even let him in. So he insisted. He said that I have to see the general. Unless the doorman, the guard yielded, and he went directly and talked to them. First he was angry, general was angry. What are you late? What is this army? He told the story. Then what did the general do? Do you know? If he would judge according to the rules, he should send that man back. Instead, what he did is he called the other 3 and then cancelled their appointment, threw them out and shouted at them. And he called this man and gave him appointment. What is? So this is, don't make judgment wholly by rules. Listen. You know A.G. Gardner's essay on saying please, isn't it? So I don't want to, you know that, so I don't want to get into that. So this is, books will tell you, theories will tell you. It's only 50%. 50% is experience and common sense. So don't make judgment wholly by rules. When you become teachers, remember this. Bye. See you again with another dose of studies tomorrow.